Well, the president of Mexico says fentanyl is an American problem.
President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said Thursday the addictive drug is not produced or consumed in Mexico. His latest comments come in spite of massive amounts of evidence that almost all of the powerful opioid consumed in the U.S. is processed in Mexico. They also come after the U.S. ambassador to Mexico tweeted U.S. and Mexican officials met to discuss combating the fentanyl crisis. His statements follow the drug cartel's alleged kidnapping of 4 Americans. 2 of them were killed in the attack.
Joining us now from Mexico City is Enrique Acevedo. He is a CBS News contributor and anchor for the Spanish-language streaming news service N Más. Enrique, welcome. Some U.S. Republican lawmakers are pushing to send the military into Mexico to go after its drug labs and cartels. Could that be what prompted the Mexican president's comments?
Absolutely, Elaine. I think there's a growing sense in Mexico among politicians and the general public that the U.S. has failed to recognize that there's a shared responsibility in this tragic cycle of addiction and violence that has killed hundreds of thousands of people on both sides of the border. What do we mean by shared responsibility? Well, 3 things. Basically, yes, the drugs are flowing through the south border and coming from other places into the U.S. because the U.S. has become the largest consumer market in the world for illicit drugs. So there's a public health challenge for the U.S. that needs to be addressed. Second, the cartels in Mexico have grown out of control. They have immense power, and that's because of the firepower they've been able to gather in the last couple of decades. 70 to 90%, some estimates saying 70 to 90% of all of those guns come from the U.S. So there needs to be more of an accountability process in the U.S. for providing that firepower. And the last is the recognizing the fact that the so-called war on drugs has been a failure, and that we need better drug policy, not just in the U.S., but across the hemisphere to address the challenges, the modern challenges.
Enrique, could the president's take on fentanyl derail any progress made between the U.S. and Mexico to strengthen drug enforcement?
That's a great question, Nikki, because security cooperation has been at an all-time low since President López Obrador took office, and since the U.S. arrested the former head of the Mexican military and then decided to let him go. That really created tension between both countries on this very delicate, very important issue of security cooperation. And now again, we see that those tensions have escalated. The comments made by President López Obrador come in the context of what you were saying at the beginning, a meeting between both governments, both administrations that are trying very hard to stop the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. and to stop consumption on both countries.
All right, Enrique Acevedo in Mexico City, thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Always, thank you.